And oh, here we go. All right, welcome everybody. I just wanted to say that thank you, Stephen and Ashley, for the amazing Canadian weekend that we had, and then leading into our training last night with our One Ruby Bootcamp. And it's or Ruby Bootcamp, I guess, right? Or should I say One Ruby? Yeah, Ruby Bootcamp. And you know, we were sharing how, you know, even though, you know, 31 years later, you know, when you get to the size of business, when you're making a six-figure income, sometimes we get comfortable and you forget. I'm not saying you don't get excited. I still get excited, but we get comfortable. And after spending time with Ashley and Stephen, I have to say that I feel like that all over again from 31 years ago, where I'm getting even more excited because of for you guys, your potential and the tools that they're putting together, and what's coming in the future is going to blow your mind. So anyways, I'm just really excited, and I want to thank you, Stephen and Ashley, for taking the time to do a recap. And I know Ashley is going to even review some of the things that with ending so quickly on Saturday. I know there were some more nuggets of information that she wanted to share with us. I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Awesome. Well, hey, Nada, thank you so much. And thank you all for being a part of this last few days in Canada, but then also hopefully last night. Question, was everyone did everyone attend last night, the Ruby Bootcamp? Trying to see.
No, there's a few haven't. There's
okay.
a few, there's a 3 or 4 that haven't.
Okay. Well, what I was going to do is Ashley's going to take tonight and keep going from where she left off on Saturday. And she has notes of just incredible nuggets and insights that she is going to want to share with you all. But I shared this, I've been sharing this a lot because it's on my heart and I feel like it'll make a difference. But I have like 3 or 4 points I'm just going to quickly read from my phone that I'd love for you to write down. We're not going to dive into them. This will take a minute or two, and then I'm going to hand the floor to Ashley for the entire meeting. But we are just such a believer in that we want to tell you the truth and what it's going to take your business to the next level. And so just to give your notes, I just want to give you a couple of notes to take down and let you chew on it, think on it, and then Ashley will dive on in. But this business, success in this business. So this is the first point we write down. Success in this business, Neolife, begins as a numbers game and evolves into a people business. We are in a people business, but it's a numbers game first. And of how many people are we going to talk to? And then I want to encourage you with this. If you're wondering, like, Stephen, what should I be doing with my time? I only have a limited amount of time to put into Neolife, or there's all these things I could do. What should I do? I want to encourage you with this. Second point, 80% of your time should be spent on your personal prospecting and recruiting. 80% of your time spent on your personal prospecting and recruiting. Which then fits into this, where I don't want you to make this mistake, which is don't make the mistake that results in nearly half or 50% of people's failures in our industry, which is this: focusing on building your front line for only a few months or a few years, and then stopping to think it's about managing your team after you've done a little bit of frontline recruiting. Don't want you to fall into that. You never want to manage. You never want to get a point where you're trying to manage a downline. You're always in personal prospecting and personal recruiting mode until. And then, okay, 2 more points. And then let me encourage you with this. I've been sharing this. A lot of people have been going, wow, I didn't know this. You want to recruit as many frontline team members each month as you possibly can until you're earning at least $10,000 a month in this business. And I'm so glad that we've been sharing this, because someone said to me today, I got a message from somebody and they said this. They said, wow, I heard you say that I need to be recruiting as many frontline people as possible each month until I'm making $10,000. You know, I've recruited a few people, but I thought I was just kind of supposed to stop and help one of those people get to director. And I've kind of been stuck. My business hasn't moved. I've recruited a few people and then I stopped recruiting, and I've just been so focused on these 3 or 4 people that I do have of trying to get one of them to director that I quit recruiting. And they're like, I'm going back to recruiting. And so I just want to encourage you, you don't want to stop recruiting and get focused on like trying to manage somebody else. And then there's 3 words I want you to live by until you're making at least $10,000 a month, which is go wide fast. Build your front line as wide as you can, as fast as you can, because it's a numbers game that turns into a people's business. And then you may be wondering, well, Stephen, what about the whole concept of duplication and building depth? Well, if you're focused on going wide and you teach your team, your promoters to go wide fast, then depth will take care of itself. I mean, depth will naturally take care of itself. And so that's just what I want to leave you with, is just this, hopefully this emphasis and this renewed focus on, I need to be personally prospecting. I need to be personally recruiting, because here's why, and not managing, because this is a people do, people see business. And if your team sees you managing, what they're going to do is they're going to try to just manage, and nobody's prospecting. But if you're prospecting and recruiting, your team will see that, and guess what they're going to do? They're going to be prospecting and recruiting as well. So just wanted to leave that out there, a few points to think on. And then Ashley, I'm handing this over to you, my friend, for the rest of the time that we're together tonight to let you share your brilliance.
Well, I don't know if I've got any brilliance, but I got some stuff written down. We'll see what happens. And then, but I won't need the whole time. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and start thinking of those, or jot them down, and we can open it up for a Q&A, because I won't need the whole time. But I wanted to tell you that I was taking notes all day Saturday. And one thing that I love to do is at these events that Stephen and I are blessed to get to go to, I love in front of the crowd being able to tell you what I heard and what I pulled away. But when I got up there, I knew that I was going to be pressed for time. So I thought I would share, I'd start with that tonight. So that day, the notes that I took was one from Nada that said, this is what I pulled from each one of the speakers. Nada said that this is more than a business, it's family. Shelley taught me about connection money, which I want to talk a little bit more about tonight when we're going to talk about stories. I think that Shelley's story about connection money is something that you can all take and really, really build upon. Joan said something that just blew my mind. She said she went from a sickness industry to a wellness industry. How amazing is that? That was such a beautiful line that Joan, I hope you use that in your story forever. Whit said, people change people's lives. And that was the first, I've heard him speak for a decade. And when he said people change people's lives, you change their health, you change their life. You change their finances, you change their life. People help change people's lives, or people change people's lives. I just thought that was such an amazing nugget that really takes our business and puts it into the right sphere, right? That we're just here to change people's lives, and we get paid to do it, which is, it seems a little crazy that we get paid to do something that's so incredible. Heather said she had, her words were freedom for and freedom from. Heather, you've got to use that every single time you tell your story. Like, that's exactly, like, Neo-Life allowed her freedom for things and freedom from things. She said that her health had robbed her of days. Her health had robbed her of days of living in her life. And all she wanted to do was live her best life. And her health had robbed her of days. I thought that was amazing. And then Rose talked about life being all about choices, and that this is a choice that we get to make. And I think that's the perfect segue into kind of what we're talking about tonight, and the fact that we choose to build this business. Like, this is a choice. No one to, go.
Ashley, after you said that, I totally forgot to say something that we talked about literally for an hour straight after Saturday, which was how amazing all of the stories were. Probably one of the best events of stories being shared in a powerful way that Ashley and I've ever seen. Sorry, if you want to add on to that, I just want to say, everyone, like Shelley, Heather, Joan, like, I don't want to miss anybody, everyone that shared their story, Rose, like, it was so good. I just forgot to
And
mention
Stephen,
earlier.
imagine this. I've heard these stories for years. And the way I heard them on Saturday
That's it.
blew my mind.
Okay.
So, yeah. Okay. So definitely, like, you guys got like the top, like, yeah, I was so happy that you recorded that, because these guys need to go back and listen to the way they said their story and listen, because they touched everybody's lives.
Yeah.
Incredibly.
You're not kidding. So one of the things that we wanted to share with everyone tonight is honestly how Whit and I devised a plan to pull out your best stories. So when I was leading a team, just like you all are leading a team right now, the way that I would get my team to tell their stories, instead of like, you've got to know your story, and it's got to be based on the layout, right? Like where you were, what you saw, what you did, and where you're going. That's your story. But that's your story, that's your 2-minute business story. That's what you tell someone when you've got a captive audience, right? But when you're speaking in front of a crowd, especially a crowd of other promoters, of club members, of prospects, you tell your story a little bit differently. And when you do that, the way that I always like pulled out the best of the stories was I asked them one question. I was like, what is one word that comes to mind when you think of your story, your product story, and your business story with this company? So that's what I want everyone to think about right now, just on your own. Think about your time in Neolife, your product story, your business story, and think about what your one word is. And it can be 2 words, but think about what is a word or what is a phrase that really sums it up. And the reason that that works so well when telling stories is because then you're not focused on this is where I was and what I did and what I saw and where I'm going. You tell how that word, you really tell a story, and you bring the entire room in, and you weave your entire story in and out of freedom. You weave your entire story in and out of choices. You weave your story in and out of making connections with your family. And that's truly what means the most to you. So you naturally talk about how you didn't have time to make connections, or you felt like you couldn't make choices, or you felt like you didn't have freedom. And then because of this business and these products, you've been allowed that freedom. You've been able to make these choices. You've been able to do whatever it is your word is. So I would encourage everyone to come up with a word. It does not have to be hokey. Like we ask each one of them, and Whit was really good with Rose. Like Whit said, nope, that's not the right one. Nope, that's not the right one. I didn't do that to the rest of you. I just said, think about it. And then come back with your word. And when you guys told your stories on Saturday, we were blown away, because here's the thing. We had just done the Crafting Your Story workshop for the last 4 weeks, and none of you told stories like that after the workshop, none of you. But I think you had put in enough work throughout the workshop that, like, when Joan found her word, she was able to weave the story that she had put together through that word, and it just brought everybody into her heart. So that's what I would like for everyone to do. I'd like for you to think, what do you have now that you didn't have then because of Neolife, because of the business, and because of the products? And that's the story that I would love for you guys to start sharing with us. So each month when we meet up on this Canadian Huddle, I'm just going to get Nada to pick like 3 of you, and you just share your stories with us like that, 5 minutes or under. And or 2 of you, if you want us to talk for 50 minutes, we can. But I was thinking 15 minutes, we could do we'll kick it off and do a story. We do a story in the middle. We do one at the end. So Nada, I'll let you choose whether we do 2 or 3. But I would love for you guys to weave your story in and out of your word. And I really believe the most powerful stories in all of Neolife are going to be coming from Neolife Canada. So that was our our plan. And when you guys got up there and that gold started falling out of your mouth, we were like, well, okay, that worked. So we're going to do that with everyone from here on out. When I think Shelly was the first one to go. So when she went up there and she nailed it, I leaned over to Whit and said, if they're all that good, this is going to be a great day. And one after another, you guys we set them up and y'all knocked them down. It was like bowling with everyone's emotions all day. You did an incredible job. So I would love to hear from the rest of you. We'll start with the people that didn't share on, last Saturday, but that is how I would love for you guys. Now figure out your story, where you were, what you saw, what you did, where you're going, figure that out. But then when you're sharing in front of a crowd, or when you share on a leadership live, or you get to share when you're at leadership school or something like that, or on stage at Impact Summit, that's how you want to share. You want to share from your heart, and you want to make a connection with the audience. And that's the way you do it. So I wanted to go over really just a quick start training. And that was what I was going to do last on Saturday. And I do a quick start training just a little bit differently than maybe other people. I just go off the 5 Ps. So there's going to be 5 Ps. And this is exactly how you get a new promoter started, or this is how I got a new promoter started. When someone gets started and they tell you they want to build a business, sometimes you're like, okay, that's great. Now what do I do? Right? Like there's so many things. You can't send them to the website and have them watch a bunch of videos. You definitely can't send them to the website and have them looking up all this stuff. And you don't want them just reading things, right? Like to get a new promoter started, we've got to lock arms with them. We've got to hold their hands and we've got to walk them through the process. So these 5 things you're going to do together with them. So the first P is purpose. If they are starting a business, they probably have a small purpose for getting started. They probably know some reason. Generally, people are not starting a purpose unless they're like, well, I want to make money. And you can say, okay, great. I love making money. No one ever sends back the paycheck, but let's pause for a second and tell me, if you were to get started here, here's the question I want you to ask them. What amount of money would make a difference in your life? I want you to straight up ask them, what amount of money would make a difference in your life? They're probably going to say any amount of money. And then you're going to say, everyone says that. Then you're going to say, but let's talk through it. Like if you made an extra $250 a month and you were working part-time, would that take care of anything that would relieve the burden or stress off of you? Or would you feel like that wasn't enough money? Is it $500 a month that if you made that a month, would that cover your car payment? And would that make a difference for you? So we're trying to get an amount of money, a dollar figure, and then ask them what their life would be like if they made that $500. Let's say it's $500. So ask them, how would life be different if you were making a consistent extra $500 every month? And then have them, walk the dog with you there. Tell them, or have them tell you what that would do for their life. And then just ask them, okay, if you don't make $500 a month, what does your life look like? Like, are you fine with it? Are you fine with not making any money here? What you're trying to do is you're trying to figure out where their threshold is and what we need to do quickly with them. But also, if they say an extra $100 a month, the question that I would usually follow up with is, $100 a month is great, but could you make some exchanges in your life and not go out to eat as much, or not drive through Starbucks, or, not for me, not go to Target. I just waste money in Target. It's the ridiculous thing. I just love the place and I leave with so many things I don't need. So what is it like? If you're just need an extra $100, $150 a month, could you do that by just like not doing some things in your life right now? And let them think on that a minute. Like, could you just not go to Starbucks? Could you just not go to Target? Could you just not eat out? Let them think about it a minute. Because if that's the case, then we're going to need them to think of a higher number, because this is a work program. And if their dreams are not bigger than an amount of money that they can just stop doing something, they're never going to work for it, right? It's got to be bigger than just adjusting some things in their life already to be able to achieve, because they only want $150 a month. You can probably exchange some things around to be able to get that. So why would they work as hard as we work for that? All right. So if you get to that point, you're going to need to up the money a little bit. So let's say we get to 500, figure out what that does for them. Ask them if they were to cover their car payment, would they be so excited? Like, would they be thrilled? Find something that they can do with that money that is going to thrill them, because that is what you're going to connect with. That's what you're going to call them about. That's why when you're talking to someone, I would be like, all right, Serena, how close are we to paying that car payment? And she'd be like, all right, we're at 250 of 500. And I'm like, all right, sister, let's get going. The day that you pay that car payment, we are going to celebrate big. We're going to post it all over Facebook. We're going to take a picture of like the new car that you're going to get one day. But we are going to tell everyone that in your spare time, on your part time, on the side, we've been able to cover your car payment. So what we're doing from the very beginning is we're trying to attach the reason that they're going to be working so hard to something that they feel, to something that they can visualize and know, so that they know what they're working toward. We also want to set from the very beginning that we're going to be celebrating you all along the way. We are looking towards something. We've got a target, because it's really hard to hit a target with a blindfold on. It's really hard to hit a target that's not even there. So we want to know where we're going. A lot of times people get started and they say, I want to make money. And no one ever knows how much money is a win for them. Sometimes $50 is a huge win for someone. And you need to know that if $50 is a big win for them, you need to be celebrating that. I mean, sometimes, if you make $5,000 a month here, $50 may not be that big of a deal, but that could have been the difference in someone having to borrow money from a friend or borrow money from a family member. So it's so important in step one to dive in and figure out what is a win for them, and to make sure they're not, that they are not thinking small and that they're dreaming big enough, right? But we need to figure out what a win is for them, because your job in the very beginning is to show them the path, but it's also to celebrate them so that they know that you are, here's another sentence that Daniel uses all the time. You honor the slightest try and you celebrate the smallest win. So if someone is trying, we're going to honor that try, the slightest try. And if someone is winning, even at the smallest level, we are going to celebrate the smallest win. So we're going to honor the slightest try, and we're going to celebrate the smallest win. And if you start celebrating from the smallest win on, this is going to become a family to them really, really fast. So that's number one. We're going to find their purpose. And a great way to find their purpose is the T chart that we're working through in Ruby Bootcamp. And I wanted to throw that up here and kind of show it to you all that are not doing Ruby Bootcamp so that you can see, because I think it's sometimes when you ask people, what's your why? Your why should make you cry, all of that stuff. That's not, I'm going to turn on a light, so don't be alarmed. Oh, that was really bright. It got dark on me here in Virginia. Sorry, it got dark since we've gotten on the phone. Sometimes when you ask them what their why is, they don't know. And if you ask them what their purpose is, they don't know. But here's what I've figured out. People always know what they don't want. They may not know what they want, but they always know what they don't want. We always know that we want to get rid of debt. We know that we want to get rid of stress. We know we want to get rid of our extra part-time job, or we want to get rid of 2 of our 3 jobs. But sometimes they don't know what they want. And I believe the reason for that is we have stopped dreaming as we've gotten older. You know, like you dream as a kid being an astronaut or a teacher or a garbage man or whatever it is that you dream of when you're young. But then you grow up and life hits you, and you either become what you always wanted to be or you don't. That's really kind of it, right? But there's so many other things in life that are fulfilling other than like what that one thing was. But we just stop dreaming, and we get to a place to where we don't dream any bigger than our bank account, and we don't dream any bigger than our paycheck. And with Neolife, you're getting an extra paycheck. We're getting more money into our bank account. So we've got to dream a little bit bigger. Otherwise, that money that's coming into our bank account, it's just going to drizzle away. We're just going to go to Target and spend it, or we're going to drive through Starbucks and spend it. If we don't name that money, it will go away. So part of figuring out the purpose is naming the money so that when people get money into their account, we can talk about it. So here is the get rid of and the want list. It looks like this. It's a T chart. And on this side, you list everything in life that you want to get rid of. And on this side, you list everything in life that you want. So on the get rid of list, that's why you start there. You want to get rid of debt, maybe. You want to get rid of stress. You want to get rid of not having any extra time. You want to get rid of an old clunky car. You want to get rid of whatever it is. You fill in the blank over to the side. I have my very first Ruby Bootcamp book. I'm going to share this with everybody next week. This was mine from well over a decade ago. At one point, I had a dog, a puppy that ate it, and I've never changed it out of the book because I think it's funny. On my very first, I wanted to get mine out. I just thought it may be interesting to share the things that I wanted to get rid of, and I'll share this next week on the call if I can find it. Oh, shoot, I may have taken it out of this. I'll find it next week. But I wanted to share that with you guys because on my list, when I was going back through my Ruby Bootcamp booklet, I realized that every single person that I reached out to, all of the points that I got in Ruby Bootcamp, I've got all of those names right here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but you can see this is the Ruby Bootcamp sheet. It looks a lot like the ones that you guys have. See all those names in my follow-up and when I reached out to them? By the time my business went away, every single one of those people that I reached out to when I first got started in Ruby Bootcamp, every single one of those people were on my team. And I think that's powerful because if you write it down, there's a life, it gets a life of its own, right? You write it down and you track it. What you focus on grows. So that's one of the reasons we're really excited about Ruby Bootcamp. But I wanted to show you this, some of the things that we wrote down. I wrote down that I wanted to get rid of debt, that I wanted to get rid of stress, that I wanted to get rid of no time. I wanted to get rid of the want to travel without having the money. So I had no travel money. And then on the want, I wanted to be debt free. I wanted to travel again. I think I was in 5 countries last week. So I think we've accomplished that one. I wanted financial peace. I wanted a college fund for my kids. I want to be able to send my kids to college. I wanted to start a retirement fund because we were in our 30s and we had not done that yet. I wanted a full savings account. I wanted better health. I wanted visual fitness. And what that meant was I've always been skinny, but I wanted some muscles or some definition or something. So that's what you're looking for when you're helping people fill out this get rid of and want list. The reason that I camped out there is I believe that the purpose is the key to everything. And if you can find a purpose that's big enough, the why and the purpose that's big enough, the how will never be easy, but the how will be worth it. If the why is big enough, the how becomes worth it. It's never going to be easy. But if you know what you're working for and it means enough to you, then you'll do it. Imagine, like Whit said the other night, if we told you that we were going to give you an exam on this call, and if you aced it, you could make $100,000. You would take it really seriously, right? But what we're telling you is if you dive in and you figure this out and you work this business, $100,000 can be just the start. So figuring out from the very beginning what you want and something that you want bad enough that you're willing to work for, it takes a little bit of time to figure that out. So the first P is purpose. The second P is products. We've got to find the right products to put in their body to make an impact fast enough that they will stick and stay. So I'm going to say that again. You've got to find the right products to put in their body to make a quick enough impact that they stick and stay. So I know that a lot of our sales in Neolife revolve around health solutions because that's what yields the 3 for free. But I do want to challenge you that if it means getting someone started on a product that fits what they're looking for and meets their needs, forget about a health solution. If they need magnesium, get them started on magnesium. If they need vegan D, get them started on vegan D. But we need to listen to what they need, and we need to fill that need. We need to find the need and then find the solution that fits that. But I would encourage you to always get people started on at least one impact product that they can taste and that they can feel fast enough. That's going to be our shakes. That's going to be Upbeat. That's going to be Neolife tea or even a bar. We want them to taste something and we want them to feel something. Now, the Neolife tea, it is hit or miss. I think we can all agree on that. Not everyone loves it. But I will tell you that our shakes, everyone loves. And they blow them away because people don't expect to love our shakes. People don't expect to love shakes at all. But if we can get in them the scientifically perfect meal, and it tastes good and their belly feels great, and we tell them that it's also clinically proven for weight loss, that is an impact product. If you can come up with a 30-second commercial, and I know we talked about commercials not being that's not what you want for your story, but if you can come up with a 30-second powerful enough story about Upbeat, you can sell that to everyone because it's a product for everyone. So I would encourage you to listen to what they want and match them with the right products that can make an impact quick enough that they stick and stay. The answer is not always Pro Vitality. You know, there are people out there that have a serious aversion to swallowing pills. I was one of them. I swallow tons of pills now, handfuls of them. But Pro Vitality is not always the product that's going to make them stick and stay. So if you're going to get them started on Pro Vitality, please at least go with a breakfast solution and get them a product that they can taste. It's also going to up your PV. So match them with the right product. So one purpose, get them on the right products. Number 3, you're going to help them package their story. And what we're going to do there is you're just going to help them package it. You know their whole story because they just got started. So you're going to explain to them how to talk to their friends because they are a professional introducer at this point. You're a professional storyteller. You're the expert in the situation. But you need to explain to them that their role is to be an introducer and that you are going to coach them through and you are going to coach their friends through the exact same way. All they need to do is introduce you to their friends and family. And in order to introduce you to their friends and family, they just need to know a few words. They need to know not to overtalk. They need to know not to overshare. And they need to know that they don't have to be the expert. And then just talk them through. If somebody comes and they got started because they want to lose weight, ask them what brought you to Neolife? What got your attention? And what makes you feel confident enough to spend your hard-earned money on these products? Listen to them and help them formulate the story that they can then turn around and tell to their friends and family very quickly, 30 seconds or under. But you are going to help them package their story. Do not send a brand new person out into the wild to go talk to their friends and family because they don't know what to say. And they're going to use words like, let me get you on the phone with my upline. That's so weird. Let me get you on the phone with my sponsor. So weird. So let them know that the number 1 rule is not be weird. Number 2, speak from the heart. Number 3, tell the truth. Number 4, don't overtalk. It's very simple. Don't be weird. So you're going to show them, you're going to say, all right, well, you came here because you wanted to lose weight. And how did you find us? Well, you saw that your friend, Joan Joan's so skinny. I'm not going to say she's lost weight, but let's pretend you lost a lot of weight. You're going to say, all right, then you're going to go out into the world and you're going to say, look, I'm getting started on these products and I'm so excited. I saw my friend Joan on Facebook. She had lost a ton of weight. She looked great. Her skin was glowing and I've known her for a long time. And if these products work for her, I thought they could work for me. So I'm going to be getting started on this date and I would love for you to do it with me because I don't want to do it alone. That's all you have to say. Speak from the heart, help them formulate a 30-second invitation to join them. It's a 30-second invitation to join them on products. So purpose, products, help them package their story. So the 3rd P is package your story. The 4th P is people you know. So while they're sitting there in front of you, you've gone over purpose, you've matched them with the right products, you've helped them package their 30-second invitation. The fourth thing you're going to do is you're going to get out a sheet of paper right there in front of you. Do not send them home to make a list. They're never going to do it. And even if they do, it's not going to be right. So what I always did is I just took a sheet of paper and I wrote down 4 sets or 5 sets. You could do either one of 10. And I would put the heading at the top, 10 people that you know that need to lose weight, 10 people that you know that need more energy, 10 people that you know that work out anyway. Because if they already work out, they're already buying products, they're already in the gym, they're used to spending money on products. So 10 people you know need to lose weight, 10 people you know that need energy, 10 people you know that are already working out, they're already athletic, 10 people that you know that may be interested in extra money. And now that could be anyone. That could be someone that's already a business owner, they're already entrepreneurial minded. That could be someone that you know needs money. I will tell you, it's sometimes difficult to talk to people that you think are already successful, but entrepreneurs love adding additional streams of income into their life. Don't be afraid to talk to them about adding an additional stream of income into their life, because sometimes people that need the money the most, and I don't want this to come off offensive at all, but I think you will agree if you listen to the actual words, like into my heart. Sometimes the people that need the money the most are not always willing to work for it. Like sometimes they've gotten into the spot of needing the money the most because they're not hard workers. Now, that is not always the case. I was a very hard worker and I needed the money. Like I was working my face off. But sometimes we look around and we're like, oh, they need the money and they need the money, but they're not doing anything to get extra money already. What you're looking for the grinders. You're looking for people that need money and they're already doing anything they can to get it. You're looking for hard workers. People that are sitting around waiting on money to show up in their hands, they're not going to build this business with you. You're looking for people who are busy. When someone tells you as an excuse that they can't do this, that they're too busy, I want you to say, awesome, you are perfect for this, because I look for busy people. Busy people see people and busy people know how to work. And I'm telling you, hard workers do well here. I always get nervous if someone tells me they have plenty of time to build this business. Someone was putting me on the phone with someone the other day and they were like, oh goodness, they are at home and they're not doing anything right now and they've got plenty of time. And my initial red flag went up and I thought, ooh, people that have plenty of time, they have plenty of time for a reason usually. I love it when I get to talk to someone where they say, okay, look, they're looking into this, but they're really busy and they don't know if they're going to have time to do it, right? So people, people that could want money for any reason, whether they just like money and want more, whether they need money and they're a hard worker, but you are definitely looking for people with a work ethic. I want to underscore that. People without a work ethic are going to frustrate you a lot. All right. And then the fifth set of 10 that I always did was I had them make a list of their top 10 dream team. And that was of everybody that you know in your life. Who are the top 10 people that you would want to work with? Do not prejudge them. Don't say, oh my goodness, well, this is the governor of, the state of Wisconsin. He's probably not going to want to do it. If you know the governor of the state of Wisconsin and you think he would be great at this and you would love to have him on your team, put him on your dream team list. So don't prejudge, but your top 10 dream team, that list should scare you a little bit. Here's why. Your dream team should consist of people that are better than you at something. It should be people that are better speakers than you, better leaders than you, better mothers than you, better fathers than you, better entrepreneurs than you, people that are better givers, people that are better Christians, people that you look at and you admire. It's people that you look at and you're like, man, the more I'm around you, the better I am at that. Because the truth is, if you're the best person in the room and you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room, right? So what we want to do is we want to surround ourselves with people that are better than us at every avenue of life. And if you will focus on your top 10 dream team, you will not be recruiting down anymore. And recruiting down is a habit that we have in this business because we feel like if we recruit, we feel like if we go out and we see people, and we see someone that we feel like is better than us, and we see somebody that's equal to us, we're going to go after equal or lower because we got a better chance at snagging them. If you will focus on this dream team list, you'll be recruiting up. And when you start recruiting up, your business goes up. When you stop recruiting people that have plenty of time and no work ethic and don't really want to work for anything, and you start recruiting people that do not have plenty of time, that are very busy, but they have big purposes for building this business, your income will skyrocket here. So when you reach out to these different people, you're going to reach out to them in different ways. For the weight loss, you're going to reach out and you're going to tell a story. Hey, I was reaching out to you because I saw on Facebook that you were getting started, and you wanted to run a marathon. And I know that starting any sort of program and running a marathon is difficult. So I just wanted to reach out and tell you that I've got something I want to share with you, and I think you're going to love it. You don't have to dive in and say, I want to share Neolife with you because you need to take these products, and this is the product that you need to take. Hey, I saw that you were training for a marathon, and I've got something that I think you're going to love. Really simple, right? And then if somebody needs more energy, you reach out to them and you're like, hey, I saw on your status yesterday that you were just exhausted and that no amount of coffee was doing it for you. I've got something that I think you're going to love. See, like we're just teasing them. It's just snippets. We didn't go in and we didn't send them a link to Upbeat or to Neolife Tea. I've got something that I think you're going to love. All right. For the people that are in the gym all the time anyway, you reach out to them and you say, hey, I know you're in the gym all the time anyway, and you are probably taking products, whether you love them or not. But I've got something that I want to share with you, and I think you're going to love it. All right. You see, there's a theme here. We reach out to people sort of the same way, but a little bit different. All right. For the people that are business minded, you reach out to them and you say, hey, look, you're an entrepreneur at heart, and I see you. Like, we are the same. I've got something that I want to share with you, and I think you're going to love it. All right. For your top 10 dream team, that is where it's going to make you a little nervous, but they're the easiest ones to reach out to, because this is the line that I always used. Hey, look, I've got something that I want to share with you, and I'm super excited about it. It may or may not be for you, but I just want you to know what I'm doing. Do you have a chance? I mean, is there any time that we can chat? Like, I'm not pushing anything on them. This is my dream team. And then when I get them on the phone, I say, all right, I made a list of my top 10 dream team, and of everybody that I've ever known in my life, you're in my top 10. And the reason is I want to surround myself with people that are better than me. And you are a better XYZ than me. I believe in surrounding myself with people that make me better, and you are better than me. So I don't know if this would interest you at all, but let me just share it with you and see. If at the end of this, you don't want anything to do with it, we're still going to be besties. It's no big deal, but at least you'll know what I'm doing. And if you run across anybody in your life that can be helped by what I'm doing or is a good match for it, you'll know to send them to me, because you'll know what I'm doing and you'll know I'm serious. So my top 10, your dream team, they will always listen to you if you approach it like that. If you don't approach them very salesy, but you approach them and you tell them, you're better than me at this. This is why I want you to hear it, because it would be my joy and my honor and it would be my honor, my privilege to get to work with you every day. It would make my life so much better. No one's going to slam you for that. Like, you're telling them that they're awesome, right? So your dream team is actually not as hard to reach out to as you would think. So help them make those 5 lists of 10. The reason you're doing that for them is because you want them to see that they know more than their mom, their sister, and their neighbor. Everybody thinks of their mom and their sister and their neighbor and their coworker, but we want them to think a little bigger than that. Now, when you finish the list of 50, you're going to circle anyone that shows up more than once. If they're on 2 lists, I want you to circle them, okay? And then I want you to spin the list around and say, all right, if you were stranded on the side of the road in the middle of the night, circle the 3 people that would come and get you, no questions asked. The middle of the night, stranded on the side of the road, which 3 people would you call and they would come get you? They're going to circle them. And then they're going to say, all right, why did I do that? And you're going to say, well, if you could call them in the middle of the night and they would get out of their comfy bed and come rescue you, no questions asked, when you call them and you say, hey, I've started something new and I'm so excited about it. I just want to share it with you. I just want to tell you about it. Can we jump on the phone? they're going to jump on the phone. If they would jump out of their bed in the middle of the night to come and get you on the side of the road, then if you say, I've started something new and I'm so excited about it, and I just want to tell you about it, can we just jump on the phone for like 20 minutes sometime this week? They're going to say yes. And those are the 3 people that you want to challenge them to get you on the phone with over the next 24 to 48 hours. This is something that I did. You do not have to, but I would recommend doing it. I told my team that if they got me on the phone with those 3 people, or any 3 people, but specifically those 3 people, in the first 24 to 48 hours, I was going to give them a prize. Now that prize can be anything. You can give them an upbeat sampler. You can give them a keychain. I've got a beautiful Canada keychain. You can give them anything you want. You can give them an upbeat and a tea, right? It doesn't matter. But people are competitive and they like to win. And if you tell them that if they can get you on the phone with 3 people in the first 24 to 48 hours, they're going to get a prize, you're going to all of a sudden be very busy for the next 24 to 48 hours. I also told them that they're going to need to ask more than 3 people in order to fulfill those phone calls. So sometimes they can get you on the phone with 5 or 6 people in the first 24 to 48 hours. And if you've ever had a team or ever had a team member that's putting you on the phone regularly, you'll know what kind of momentum that can build in your business, right? If you can get them started quick, because your job is to put some money in their pockets within the first 7 days. People who do not get paid in the first 7 days drift off. You've got to show them the money. And because we do really only get paid once a month here, you're going to have to be very diligent at counting the money for them and telling them about it. When they sell a breakfast solution or when they sell a weight loss solution, it's your job to call them or send a voice message and say, hey, congratulations. Do you know that you just made X amount of dollars by selling that weight loss solution? You are amazing. You're getting so much closer to paying that car payment already. So you count the money for them, you celebrate them, and you tie it back to their purpose. All of these things are interconnected and woven together. So purpose, products, package your story, their story, people you know, they know. And then the last is the process. You teach them the process. And the process is the success system. The success system, we debuted it at convention, but the success system is to initiate, introduce, invite, and inspire. So the first one is initiate. And you have already told them how to initiate because you have packaged their 30-second invitation. So you tell them, here's the process. You're going to initiate conversations. Just initiate it. Go out there and create curiosity. Start conversations. And when someone starts talking back to you, you're going to do the second thing. And that is introduce, because you're a professional introducer. You go initiate conversations and then you introduce them to me. And you don't do it in a weird way. You just say, hey, I'm so glad that you're interested and that you want to look into these products. When is a good time to jump on the phone for about 15 minutes? I want to introduce you to your other coach. Her name's Nada. Because in this business, we do everything as a team, and you will always have a second set of eyes on everything. I always want to make sure that when I'm matching products to people, that I've got someone else's eyes on it, because I never want you to spend $1 more than you have to, or order a product that you don't need to. And that's what Nada's specialty is. You see, I didn't say get on the phone with my upline or talk to my sponsor. I'm like, hey, Nada is going to be your other coach. And she is your second set of eyes to make sure that you're not spending any more money than you have to, and that we're ordering the right products that fit you. So when's a good time to get on the phone for about 15 minutes? So you initiate, and then you introduce them to me. The third one is we're going to invite them to something. You're going to invite them to one of your Canadian calls on Tuesday or Thursday. You're going to invite them to a Discover More. You're going to invite them to a Neo Life in Your Home tonight. You're going to invite them over to your house on Saturday for some coffee, and Nada's going to come over. You're going to invite them to something. You're going to initiate, introduce, and then invite them to something, because the fourth I happens when you invite them to something. They're inspired. When they get in front of other people and around other people, they're inspired by this community. That is the process. Like, that's the success system. So if you can use the 5 P's and the 4 I's, you are going to have great success in this business. You can get someone started really quickly And they will know what they're doing if you use those 5 P's and the 4 I's. So that is my quick start training. I'm going to put in the chat. I'm going to go down to the chat and write all the P's and the I's down so that you have them. There are 3 additional questions that I would ask a business builder when they're getting started. The first question is, how do you prefer to communicate? Do you prefer to communicate via text message, email, Facebook messages? Do you do voice messages? Do you have an Android or iPhone? How do you prefer to communicate? Because once you know that, you can meet them where they are. The second thing is, how do you like to be coached? Do you like to be pushed or pulled? Do you like to be left alone? Do you want to just chat at the end of every day via text message? Are you someone that just wants a motivational, text message in the morning? How do you want to be coached? And if they say, I like to be left alone, there's a follow-on question there that says, okay, I understand I like to be left alone too, but let's be honest. How has that been working for you in the past? If you're left alone, do you do well or do you kind of falter? And usually they'll laugh and say, okay, fine, I kind of falter. But that then gives you permission to jump in and make a plan of how you're not going to leave them totally alone, but you're not going to be in their face either, right? So how do you like to communicate? How do you like to be coached? And then the third thing is, what motivates you? Some people are motivated by money, and that is great. If they're motivated by money, you count the money for them, you count it for them, and you tell them when they made money. And you connect it back to their purpose. If they're motivated by recognition, it's your job to recognize them in front of people and let people recognition. It is not bad to want to be recognized. As humans, we want recognition, and it's okay. That's fine. It's a beautiful piece of this business is that we always have recognition. It is one of the reasons people actually stick and stay. I've always been told people do this business for one of 2 reasons, money or recognition. And it's usually not the first one. People love to be recognized. And as adults, we don't get enough trophies, right? So recognition maybe motivates them. Maybe community motivates them. Maybe being able to take care of other people motivates them because they're natural caretakers in the world. So find out how to communicate, how to coach, and how to motivate. And that is going to help you lead them better because you can meet them where they are. So I'll write all that in the chat so you have them. Does anyone have a question or anything that you want to go over?
Ashley, it's Heather here. I just
Hello,
wanted
darling.
Hi. I just wanted to make sure you saw Nada's chat message there. She had to go off this call to start the health talk, and we do have guests going on health talk. So she really loves your training, and she will obviously watch the recording. We all love the training. I do anyway, but I want to make sure you got that.
No, that's perfect. I'm going to type this up. I forgot y'all have one. I've got another one, but mine's not yet. All right. I'm writing this so that y'all have it in the chat. And then you guys go to your health talk. Does anyone have anything before you go that you need me to, or that you want covered at any time? Communicate. Okay, go to your health talk. All right, how do you prefer to communicate? How do you want to be? Sorry, I don't know why I'm typing so slow. Of course, it's because you've got to go. What mode?
Ashley, I have a quick question for you.
Go for it.
It's Leonie. Hi.
Hey, Leonie.
Hi. I just want to ask you, when you say don't say talk to my upline, so you use the word coach then, or business partner. You just say you use coach.
Don't say business partner because that freaks them out.
Okay.
So anything that's too technical will freak them out. So you just say, I want to introduce you to my friend. We call ourselves coaching teammates. You know what I mean? Anything you want to say. But I used to say, I want to introduce you to my friend Jessica. We coach everyone through together. So I would just say, I want to introduce you to my friend Wynn. We coach everyone through together. When she gets someone started, I jump on the phone. When I get someone started, she jumps on the phone, because we always want to have a second set of eyes when we're matching products. because I don't want you to spend $1 more than you have to or order any products that don't quite fit for you. And then you've always got another friend and another coach. And I used to say we coach by committee. So there's plenty of people here. We're all going to coach you together.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. And yes, if somebody, let's see, how do we save the chat? Oh, good. We've got the recording, so that's good. I'll save this chat, and I think somebody else, y'all may want to save it too. Who knows? I don't know how to save a chat. Does somebody know? Somebody taught me when I first started working here.
Yeah, there's 3 buttons at the bottom of the chat where normally you type.
Got it.
3
Got
little
it.
buttons says save
You
chat.
know what? I think it was Heather that taught me how to do that last time. That's not surprising. So, okay, I got it. Okay, I've saved the chat and it's recorded. So I'll send this recording to Nada and then she can get it out to everybody if they need it. All right, guys, go enjoy your health talk. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Ashley. Fantastic
Bye.
training. Thank you so
Take
much.
care.
Bye,
Thank you
guys.
so much. Bye. Bye, guys.
transport medical supplies to remote communities, making healthcare more accessible to everyone, wherever they live. A daily routine along Mumbai streets, the city's famous dabbawalas packing up home-cooked lunches ready to be delivered. They're used to flying the day, but this weekend, the presumption passed as kids with sorrow. We were so upset to hear the Queen was gone, this dabbawala said. Both the one with the royals, having met the then Prince Charles and the Queen herself. She was kind and welcoming. But that warm feeling is not universal in this country. At Mumbai's gateway of India, built for a British king, and the spot where the final British troops left this land, any regard for Queen Elizabeth is clouded by the scars of a brutal colonial past.
They ruled over us for so many years, and they did so many wrong things, so many cruelty. After her death, she is also
Kind of bittersweet, mostly I think orchestrated monarch Liverpool, around several years after the home visit. But as head of the Commonwealth, the young queen visited the young republic in 1961 to a rapturous welcome. Scenes from the past that feel far removed from many in today's India. This iconic Mumbai train station used to be called Victoria Terminus, but has been Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus for years now. It's one example among many of the attempts to erase the signs of a painful colonial past in the decades since India became independent, a goal that's an even more urgent priority for the current government. Yet another symbol is set in one of the crowns owned by Queen Elizabeth, causing rancor in the souls of many Indians. The Kohinoor taken from India and now part of the crown jewels is trending on Twitter. Many here desperately want it back.
There's at least something which is ours, and they have already taken so much from our people.
A wish shared by a fair number in the country, even on the day reserved for mourning the Queen of India's former colonial masters. Selena should be CBC News, Mumbai.
Britain's long farewell to Elizabeth II, each carefully choreographed step carried out with metronome-like precision. A reminder that the traditions that come with one of the world's oldest monarchies are also about ensuring its ability to survive into the future. In other words, the Queen is dead, long live the King. Parliamentarians have already sworn allegiance to King Charles III. In London, the streets leading to Buckingham Palace are still clogged with mourners carrying offerings.
Yes, remind me of the Queen a lot, and it's just such calm color.
Well, my mum is a huge fan of the Queen, and she was on holiday when she passed away, so I said I would come and lay some flowers.
Some admit they're still adjusting to the fast-changing landscape.
You don't know anything but Queen Elizabeth, and she was such a rock to the country, I felt, even during COVID. It's a weird time. I feel like blessed somewhat to have seen a queen and experienced having a queen. And like, it just feels weird having a king, not gonna lie.
But aside from a brief moment when Charles seemed irritated by the size of the table he had to sign the proclamation of accession on, commentators say the transition so far has been note perfect.
And I think actually the first 48 to 72 hours of King Charles III's reign has been virtually flawless, which is exactly how those who were planning it wanted. Let's not forget, these are people that plan even royal visits down to the last minute.
Camilla Tominey is an associate editor for the Daily Telegraph, covering the British royal family.
Of course, there have always been fears behind palace gates that Prince Charles, as he once was, had enormous shoes to fill in trying to replicate some of his mother's magic.
It's one reason she says that King Charles' schedule has plenty of time on it for him to get out of his motorcade and greet people in person, a more approachable image on offer perhaps than in the past. Another carefully managed moment came Saturday. William and Kate and Harry and Meghan, once dubbed the Fab Four, appearing together again outside the gates of Windsor Palace to meet well-wishers. Past differences seemingly put aside, at least for now.
So Margaret, some pretty extraordinary scenes unfolding this weekend, but the week ahead is needed. That's right. I mean, we're going to start to see the focus shift back down here to London, to Buckingham Palace. The Queen's body will be moved here on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, it will be carried by gun carriage, we understand, to the Palace of Westminster, where there will be a lying in state until the funeral, which will be a week from Monday. In the meantime, King Charles, the new king, will be visiting the realms of the United Kingdom. So he's starting in Northern Ireland on Tuesday, and all the while overseeing, obviously, the preparations for the state funeral to come. It's a lot. It's an awful lot. You're welcome.
UBC is using drones to transport medical supplies to remote communities, making healthcare more accessible to everyone, wherever they live.